श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि भरणौ रघुवर विमल जसु जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। In these beautiful invocations, not only Hanumanji's beautiful, noble, wonderful and devoted character is portrayed, but also all our worship, adoration leads us to surrender our own ego, our own unwanted, limiting beliefs and tendencies, because whom we admire, whom we bow down to, we surrender. And surrendering our limiting beliefs, vasanas, our negativities that cause agitations to us, such as kama, krodha, lobha, moha, ahankara, matsarya, the 6 toxins of the mind. Lust, anger, greed, delusory attachments, ego, jealousy. And that is what we pray to Hanumanji. Harau kalesa vikara. Vikara, all the toxins of our mind that agitates us, and all the klesha, all that which is the cause of our troubles, our problems, our sorrows. And they are also listed in the Yoga Shastras as first and foremost ignorance. We do not know how it spreads. Yeah? Klesha. Then likes and dislikes for wearing a mask. Yeah? Still slipping off people's noses. It happens or not? No? Likes and dislikes. Then fear of death, and all this about I. So these are the causes of our problems and sorrows. That's why we pray, Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesa Vikar. So all namaskara, all adoration, salutations, and surrender is for us to be free of these negativities, and what we admire, we imbibe, and therefore to get all those positivities. So these are those beautiful invocation verses on Hanumanji, the greatest, the noblest, the humblest of all sevaks of Bhagwan. This next verse, related to it, there are many, many wonderful aspects of Hanumanji. Anjaneyam atipatalalanam Kanchanadrika Kanchanadrikamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarumula Vasinam Bhavayami Pavamanandanam. Bhavayami. I meditate. This word bhavana in Sanskrit, generally in our languages like Hindi, bhavana means emotion. And whatever we emotionally think of, our mind holds on to it with single pointedness. Therefore, any thought you have, it doesn't have any power until and unless you emote with it. In Sanskrit literature, bhavana means contemplation, meditation. And as Gurudev would say it, that contemplation is thinkingly feeling and feelingly thinking. When both the wings of our head and our heart, our thinking and our feeling are equally spread out, then only flight in meditation takes place. So bhavayami, we have to understand that not just repeating these verses, not only just intellectually understanding the meaning of it, but knowing it as well as feeling it. And therefore, the importance of jnana and bhakti together. And Gyan and Bhakti is represented by Sri Ram and Sita. Bhagwan says in the Gita also, Mayeva mana adatsva, Mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva, atha urdhvam na samshaya. The secret of single-pointed meditation is that both our mind and our intellect, when they hold the same ideal with love and devotion, then there is single-pointedness, there is integration of our mind and intellect, and from the integrated mind and intellect, what rises is bhavana, a contemplative atmosphere of the inner equipments. And therefore, bhavayami, I bow down to who? Nandanam, the joy of who? Pavan. And Pavan is one who purifies everything. In his presence, everything becomes pavan. And therefore, pavamanandanam. One who is the joy of the ever purifier, and that is Pavan, the joy of Pavan Devata. So I bow down to him, who is the son of Anjani, Anjaneyam. Again, both these parents are mentioned, and sometimes we still keep on thinking, and you will hear also that after all, whose son is Hanumanji? Okay, you've got three fathers' name, but whose son is he? He's a son of all three. How can someone be a son of all three? He can have a stepfather, a foster father, etc. But How can we son of all three? But we have told you the story. And don't go ah and oohs. Because after all, you also have got three fathers. Because all of us present here, from where do you think we have come? Kastvam koham kuta ayatah ka me janani ko me tatah. Have you ever pondered about this? From where have you really come? Who are you? This physical body, this form of this physical body came from the genes of the father and the mother. So it came from the father, the form came from there. But where did life manifest from? So when we think very carefully, we find the answer, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana. Jiva is an amsha. Jiva is an amsha. Of who? The spark of the infinite consciousness. Call it Shiva, call it Vishnu, call it Krishna. So, Mamaivamsho jiva loke. So, it is that spark of consciousness. And why we call it spark? Because as though conditioned in this mind and intellect, a part of that consciousness manifests as this jiva. And it is said that first the jiva enters the subtle body. Jiva is consciousness conditioned by the subtle body according to its vasanas and karmas, and such a jiva, according to the thoughts of the father, enters first the subtle body of the father, the thought of the father, and then enters the seed. And who carries that seed to the mother's womb? It is Vayu only, the Prana Shakti, that carries it. So is not Vayu instrumental? And therefore, if we recognize this, then we first and foremost recognize our divinity and our identity with Shiva. Ajas shashvatoyam purana na hanyate hanyamane sharire. We come to recognize that I am that eternal Sanatan. Even if you understand yourself to be the Sanatan Jiva, the Jiva does not die even when this body dies. Even that knowledge can make us fearless. And Vayu gives it the energy, Prana gives it the Shakti, and therefore the Shakti of Vayu is there also, Prana Shakti. And it is the mother who is the embodiment of all virtues and values that we get in the nurturing of the mother. Therefore, always mother and father's name comes together. And why here it is pointed out as the joy of the purifier, because wherever Hanumanji went, he destroyed all evil, negativities, and not only destroyed all evil and negativities, but wherever he went, he instilled the devotion of Ramchandraji, and nothing is more purifying than devotion. And therefore the joy of Pavan Devata, whose face is extremely red. Ati Pata Lalanam, extremely red. You know why Hanumanji's face is red? Many reasons. Huh? And his body, Kanchanadri, Kamaniya Vigraham. His body like a gold mountain glowing with beauty, such as his Vigraham, his form. So one who shines like a golden mountain with a red spot or a face. And that we say, Kanchana Varana Biraja, Subesa Kanana Kundala, Kunchita Kesa. Now about Hanumanji's birth also, and about his form also, that sometimes they say, that different places they say that he is white langur. That's why you see some pictures, one of the famous drawings of Hanumanji, he's sitting there, white in color. And we find white langurs also with a black face. Here it is said his face is red. Now if you see the monkeys that keep coming here, all around Hanumanji, see their form, the color is golden. Kanchana Varana. See their faces? So the whole argument people try to see that which species of monkey was Hanumanji. Langur, white langur, golden langur, or a golden monkey, all these things people try to find out. But according to the Ramayana, Hema Shailava Deham, like a golden mountain was his body. Why is body like a mountain? Because Bajrang Bali, strong like a mountain he stood, unshakable, that even Bhima could not shake his leg. So if Hanumanji stood anywhere firm, Garima, firmly rooted, that strong is Hanumanji, and his body is like a Vajra, is like a mountain. And I don't know if you've observed early morning, when you look at these mountains and the first rays of the golden sun comes, have you seen how it spreads across? If you read the book Valley of Bliss, it's about Siddhabadi. There, that whole streak that comes across the mountain, especially during Gurudev's Mahasamadhi day, the consecration here of the Samadhi, how the entire mountain just turned gold. So his body shining like gold. Again, when we say gold, so physical form also, he is color gold. Now when you say gold color, what do you mean by gold color? Color all of you have got. Yeah. For which people from all over Europe go to Florida or Spain or come to the beaches of Goa to get our color, and you go and put Fair and Lovely. In short, he is tall, dark and handsome. That is, if you read any romantic book that you ladies, when you were young, you always read about tall, dark, handsome men. Do you hear? Tall, fair, handsome men. So Kanchana Varana is tall, magnificent like the mountain, golden in color, which means tanned color. And Kanchan, one meaning is gold, other has got a nice, just plain white. It's the tan color that gives that shine and beauty. But Kanchan means that which attracts. A person may be very good looking but may not be an attractive personality. Firm and strong and magnificent like a mountain, but like a golden mountain, which means an attractive personality, because the word gold is called as Kanchan because it attracts everybody. Not only by its shine and its luster, but its sheer, greed of wealth that people have, that how they get attracted towards gold. But gold, the color and the purity of gold, everybody knows that from all the elements, why gold is the most precious, because it is the purest. It doesn't get rusted, it doesn't get tarnished, doesn't get rusted like iron, doesn't get tarnished like silver. Gold remains immaculate. Therefore also represents that pure, shining, brilliant personality who never fails in his or her knowledge, whose purity and beauty does not get ever tarnished. And that's the beauty of Hanumanji. Therefore Goswami Tulsidas ji says, Varnau Raghuvar Vimala Jasu. I praise the glory. Which glory? Vimala. Unblemished, untouched, undirtied glory of Raghuvara. Ramchandraji was great. But you know what? In this world, first of all, to live in this world without a fault, without a defect, without committing some sin, it is so difficult, knowingly or unknowingly, in this world to live such a life. And at the same time, those who are unknown, nobody can even spoil their name. But in this world, not to have your own fault, and not that people also see fault in you. Because in this world, those who don't have any name, nobody talks about them. But the more famous you are, the more great deeds that you have done, the more recognized you are, the more people are suspicious. I mean, it can't be that good. And in this world, people did not even spare all the great people. Even now, when you just tell someone, oh, so-and-so is so great, but there must be something. Fault finding is the preoccupation of the people of this world, because they know they are not perfect, so they can see everybody only through their viewpoint only. To live in this world without a blemish and being, कि जिसका कोई नाम नहीं उसको क्या लोग बदनाम करेंगे? To be famous, to have done great work, and doing great work, sometimes some wrong also gets done. But to live in this world without a blemish, and that not even a single person can throw a dirt or find a fault or a blemish in that person. In this world, the world has not even spared Ramchandra ji and Mother Sita, who had no fault of their own, who in their actions had no fault. But till today, Ramchandra ji is not spared. Sita ji, though, while she gave the Agni Pariksha also, still people questioned her. But one character with such feats performed, such greatness, no fault of his own, and not one person till today can find any fault in him. This is what you mean by Kanchana Varana. That spotless glory, that golden mountain, Deha. So physically, they point out that his body was golden hued, handsome, attractive, but attractive personality, and therefore the pride of, the joy of Pavaman, of Pavan Devata. That is the purity of Hanumanji. And when anything is done with love, and love for the higher is called as devotion. And devotion is just not casual love. There's an element of adoration and reverence, an ideal that you are devoted to. And for that ideal, with that is supreme love, whatever you do will be perfect. And therefore you find this description of Hanumanji. But what about that red face? What about that red face? Now about this red face also, first of all, as you know, monkeys have got, people with golden monkeys generally have a reddish face. About that red face also, there are some stories. Eknathji Maharaj once was writing, he was writing the Ramayana, he was composing the Ramayana, and he wrote that the beautiful Mother Sita was surrounded by, in Ashok Vatika, by white flowers. The description, poetical description. Ashoka tree, of course, has got red flowers, but around her was white flowers. Hanumanji, who is seen, Eknath Maharajji is just writing. Hanumanji, who has seen there, comes there and says, no, this is wrong. This is how you'll find also, devotees, every time going to Gurudev's Kutia, no, not like this, not like this, not like this, no. This is how, everybody's got their own opinion about it. But Hanumanji said, listen, I was present there. All the flowers there were red. And Eknathji Maharaj says, the flowers around Sita ji were all pure white. Sita ji in her purity and all flowers white. Finally they got into an argument. Then whenever they get into an argument, Bhagwan or Sita ji has to come now, and Bhagwan was not present there physically. So they invoked Mother Sita, and Sita ji came there and said to them, why all you're fighting? I'll tell you what flowers he must have seen in his meditation, and Hanumanji was there for a short time. So Sita ji, you tell us, Mother, whether the flowers were white or they were red. And Sita ji said, Eknathji Maharaj is right, the flowers were white. But Hanumanji said, but I saw it with my eyes, they were red. He said, because when you saw my sorrow, your whole face and eyes were so red with anger that you saw everything as red, 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 red. Yeah. So in Lanka, when Hanumanji saw the sorrow of Mother Sita, and when he burned the entire Lanka, naturally at the time also of burning Lanka, his face with that fire must have been glowing red. But all that, Sukshma Rupa Dhari, Siyahi Dikhava, Bikata Rupa Dhari, Lanka Jarava, Bhima Rupa Dhari, Asura Sanghare, Ramachandra ke Kaj Savare. So to do Ramchandraji's work, Hanumanji, his face had become red with anger. There's another story also which says, and again when you see langurs, their body is either golden or white and the face is extremely black. And that they say is that his red face, how did it become black? Because there are certain monkeys with that also, which means really speaking, Hanumanji gave glory to all the types of monkeys. Red face monkeys, brown color monkeys, white color monkeys, golden color monkeys, red face monkeys, black face monkeys. Whatever you may say, they say that when Hanumanji's tail was burning and when he found out that all the houses have burnt, so that Ashok Vatika would not burn, he came quickly to the Sindhu, came to the river and he dipped his tail in the river and his face was all red and hot. So he took that and then covered he wiped his face with his tail and therefore it was covered with black. That's how one story tells us. That's how his face became black. But there is another story. And that I know some of you heard it. I have also told it many times. But I know why his face is black. Red. Not just because of anger. Bhima Rupadhari Asura Sanghare. But because there's a beautiful story where one day, and whenever Hanumanji came to Mother Sita, he came just come as a little baby in front of your mother, however big you might be. You are always a child. And that's how we must approach our mother. Not, Mom! You don't understand anything. Mom! You're old-fashioned. Mom! You all understand, no? How young you feel. Yeah? And your children always looking at you as like you're outdated, you're yesterday, you don't know anything, Mom. Mom is the one who you can just tell off, yeah, and show your greatness to. In front of our mother, we are always, our parents, Guru, we are always small, however great we may be, however big we may be, whatever our age may be, whatever our position in society may be. One day, Mother Sita, after having her bath, wearing her most beautiful sari, like you all were supposed to. Wearing her most beautiful sari, she came in front of her dressing table and having worn her beautiful necklaces and jewels, she's getting ready to receive her husband Ramchandraji and walk with him to the court and sit there with him, beside him. After wearing her jewels, just when she was about to take the sindoor and apply it on her forehead and in the partition of her, in the part of her hair, suddenly she hears a sound and she's alone in the room, but she hears some sound, and naturally when it's quiet and suddenly you hear, suddenly a sound, ah, Maya! She got startled, she looked around, nobody was there. Again she was just going to apply the sindoor, Maya! She heard the word Maya, but who? She looks around. Again, as just when she's about to, again, Maya! She looks under the bed, there's nobody under the bed, nobody is there. And just when again she's putting in the sindoor in her forehead, she hears, Maya! She looks outside, and from the window she said, sitting on the branch just outside the window is Sukshma Hanuman, small little Hanuman, and he's looking at her with those curious eyes. And I do not know, even as a child, whether you're a boy or a girl, whenever we see the most beautiful person in our life, our mother, watching her, putting her sindoor and all that. So Hanumanji is watching mother put her sindoor. He says, Maya, why are you putting this red powder? Yeah. See, that's why our Why Do We book also. Children ask all these questions. Now even Mother Sita did not know because she had not started writing the curriculum for Bal Vihar. She didn't have Lava Kush at that time yet, So she didn't know how to answer to the children as yet. After Hanumanji, she started, So she was placing the sindoor, and Hanumanji said, why are you putting this red powder? She said, this red powder is sindoor. South we call it kumkum. So he said, but why are you putting this? So she couldn't say that, this is to show that, I have the love of my husband, or I am a married woman, all other men should stay away, all that. So she just said, I put it for Ramchandraji. Why do you put it for Ramchandraji? She says, for his long life. And because Ramchandraji loves me. Hanumanji heard this, nodded his head, and child gets that, that answer that satisfies the child. He looks at it, yeah. Next day she comes out, she can't find her sindoor dabli. She has a stock in the cupboard, that also is gone. And just when she's in distress, door knocks, knock. Who's there? And Ramchandra says, I'm here. She says, don't come in, because those days, women would never go without sindoor in front of their husband or their in-laws or in front of the society. But he walks in hearing her voice in distress, and she's holding her head and she says, what happened? My sindoor is lost. He said, but you've got a stock, even that is gone. And she's, crying. And when a woman is in distress crying, husbands, even if you think anything, don't laugh. Lakshman laughed and see what happened. Hanumanji also, Ramchandraji also laughed and he said, come. And he said, I'm in distress and you are laughing away, He said, come and see. And what do they see? Hanumanji is sitting on the tree, pouring all the sindoor all over himself. And all over his face. Lal deha lali lase, arudhari lal langur, vajra deha danav dalana, jai 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 kapisur. Lal deha, lali lase, whole body red, face red, arudhari lal langur. Even taken his tail and put on that also red. Vajra deha, danav dalana. Even now I'm telling you, when you see these old tribal movies, or even now if you go and see that haka, the football, that New Zealand people, no. Why did Columbus think that he landed up in India? And India is Kanchana Varana. And he saw red Indians because they had all red on their face, seeing these foreigners come there to loot their country, But in this context, Hanumanji had got all red on his face. So they said, why? Hanumanji comes down. He sees Ramchandraji and Sitaji and he's just showing off. Ramchandra said, why are you acting like a monkey? Now how else will he act, Why are you acting like a monkey? And Hanumanji started crying. You don't love me. You don't love me. Like typical youngsters nowadays. Every time their mummy, you don't love me. Now Ramchandraji suddenly seeing Hanumanji going so sentimental. He said, what happened? Why do you mean I don't love you? No, you don't love me. You don't love me. And now Sitaji is laughing. Hanumanji is crying and Ramchandra is looking around. What's happening? Sitaji to understood. So, and Ramchandra said, why? Why are you saying that I don't love you? Of course I love you. He says, Mother Sita puts just so little sindoor and you love her so much. I thought I'll put so much sindoor and you would love me even more. So Hanumanji is doing all this so that he can do Ramchandraji's work by painting his face red. And what is that? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So this red face has got two significance. One is that he is covered with love. Other is that he is ready to fight any battle, but out of his love for Ramchandraji. And Ramchandraji's love is for the welfare of everybody. Kabir Das ji has another beautiful doha in reference with this lal, this red. And he also plays with this alliteration. He says, Lali mere lal ki jit dekhun tit lal, lali dekhan main gayi, main bhi ho gayi lal. Even Star Trek knows the meaning of lal. And we anglicized, Hinglicized, Tamilicized, Tinglish, Hinglish, Tamilish. Lal means red and lal also means beloved. Lali mere lal ki. Lal, my beloved Lord Bhagwan. Lali, his redness, his love, his beauty, his vibhuti. Lali mere lal ki jit dekho tit lal. That the redness of my beloved, wherever I see his beauty, his glory, his love spread everywhere. And lali dekhan main gayi, main bhi ho gayi lal. And I just went to see his glory. That's why yesterday after meditation I said, just go and see the mountains. And did you see yesterday in all these days, the most spectacular display? I know some of you just captured it on your phone. Hope you could have captured it in your heart. लाली देखन मैं गई, मैं भी हो गई lal. That I went to see his glory. And the result is like the salt doll that went to measure the ocean, dissolved to become the ocean. So the love of the lover, wherever I see the love of the lover spread out. And when I went to experience that love, I only became one with love. तो लाली मेरे लाल की जित देखूं तित लाल, लाली देखन मैं गई, मैं भी हो गई लाल. लाल देह लाली लसे अरुधरी लाल लंगूर, वज्र देह दानव दलन, जय 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 कपिसूर. That Hanumanji, having all the red on his face, which means every moment he has only Ram and Ram in his mind and his heart, in his very being, that he is the very embodiment of the love of Ramchandraji. He is the very glory or the vibhuti of Ramchandraji. And where can he stay away from Ram? Ram to continuously picks him up and embraces him. And therefore, he is one with Bhagwan. And Parijata Taru Moola Vasinam. He sits at the base or the root of the Parijata tree. Which means that it is he who nourishes the Parijata tree. Parijata tree, many stories are there in the Puranas that it was the tree of the heavens. And Indra Devata had given it to Indrani. And with that, she is to worship Lord Shiva. So also very dear to Lord Shiva. And there's another story in the Bhagavatam that Arjuna brought this Parijata because he had a free ticket too, because his father also was Indra Devata. So he brought the Parijata tree for Mother Kunti, with which she is to worship. And then there's another story that Satyabhama, who always felt that she wanted to be the most loved by Krishna. And there's nothing bad in that. But Rukmini wanted to love Krishna the most. And for her, Sri Krishna from the heavens brought Parijata. But she had become quite proud of that. You know that Parijata tree Krishna brought for me. But anyway, there are many other stories that how Hanumanji destroyed the pride of Garuda and even Satyabhama. There are many stories like that. But Hanumanji sits at the root of the Parijata tree. And Parijata tree, if you see, it's fully blooming, fragrant flowers. You don't have to go, in fact, it said never pluck the Parijata because it just drops it. And if you see the carpet of flowers that is around the Parijata trees, and generally we just have to pick up these flowers and we offer it to Bhagwan. Normally you never take up fallen flowers for Bhagwan, but Parijata tree is just showering its flowers. It's just dropping its flower. Therefore it is also, and not only very, very fragrant flowers. I say very fragrant, not that strong, pungent smell that will, create allergies or, headiness. But very, very fragrant flowers they are, and they just drop effortlessly. Even if you just go and put your hand, the sheer breeze of it will drop the flowers in your hand. Therefore, it is also an expression of the wish-fulfilling tree. And Hanumanji sits at the root of the wish-fulfilling tree. And what is that wish-fulfilling tree? That whatever we wish, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे. But when I was contemplating on this, it became so clear that many places Goswami Tulsidas ji has said that if Bhagwan is the reservoir of bliss, the ocean of bliss, sadhu sant are those who are like the clouds that carry that water to quench the thirst of people or even the earth far away, where there is no water. Thus, those who come to Bhagwan's Sharan, they can sip the bliss, the love. But saints and sages are those who carry it to those who cannot reach the reservoir. That's why again and again, even Bhagwan says, Mote Sant Adhik Kari Lekha. Consider saints to be greater than me. There's another description that if Bhagwan is the wish-fulfilling tree, saints and sages are like Pavan, who carry the fragrance of the sandalwood tree or the fragrant tree, and actually, and if there is no wind, you cannot even smell. You may be close to the sandalwood tree, you may be close to the parijata tree, but you will not be able to smell. It is the wind that carries it. And therefore, the glory of such devotees, such sadhu and sant, and of course, Guru. Therefore, Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Dharat Mahat. Even in the Upanishads, Pavan is called as Guru. And therefore, sits at the root of the parijata tree. And what is that? If Bhagwan is that most fragrant, blessing, parijata, Ram Saris Kohu Nahi, Aso Ko Udar Jag Mahi. But Bhagwan says, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Those who takes Bhagwan's Sharan, Bhagwan blesses them. That's why again and again Hanumanji is telling, Tumaro mantra vibhishana mana Lankeshwar bhai sab jag jana. That he gave the mantra to Vibhishan, and what did he tell Vibhishan? You abandon all fear, restrictions, inhibitions. Even if you are the greatest of all sinners, you just go to Bhagwan's Sharan. That's why he says, Shravana Sujasa Suni Ayahu. Listening your glory from Hanumanji. I have come to you, knowing your greatness, not that I deserve. And Bhagwan's promise is that whoever Even Hanumanji tells Ravan that even after what you have done, you just go to Bhagwan's Sharan, he will make you the unrivaled king of the three worlds. What is Lanka? You just come to the Sharan of Bhagwan. And who is sitting at the Sharan of Bhagwan all the time? Yeah. Hanumanji. And he is the one who brings everybody. Even when Vibhishan came, everybody was suspicious about Vibhishan. But when Vibhishan saw Hanumanji there with Ramchandraji, he knew he is well protected, because Hanumanji is sitting at the feet of Ramchandraji, who is that benevolent Lord. Anyone who helplessly comes and surrenders. Vibhishan had not done any seva. Sugriv had not done any seva. But Hanumanji brought them to Ramchandraji. And he always remains at Ramchandraji's feet. And shows us the direction to Ramchandraji's feet. And coming there, we are showered with everything. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, jo dayak phala chari. It reminds me also another beautiful incident. Yeah. We were sitting with Gurudev in this area only where this hall is today. But that time there was no hall, just outside the satsang hall, sitting right somewhere here. And people would gather around outside, and people would ask questions. So one elderly person who could see that his time is coming soon, he said, Swamiji, Kabir Das ji has said, Gur Gobind dahu khade, kako lago paye, Balhari Guru apne, jin Gobind diyo bataye. That if God and Guru both were to simultaneously be in front of me, who should I bow first? Because who is the greatest and the mightiest and honorable, we should always bow to them first. Offer to them first and then. But if Guru and God both come together, who should I bow first? Yeah, because Kabir Das ji says, he had his own logic for it, that I will bow down to Guru first, because it is Guru who showed me Bhagwan. That is his devotion, his logic. Others will say, no, Bhagwan first. So he said, Gurudev, you are my Guru. When you and Lord appear in front of me, tell me. Tell me what, you tell me now only, because it's better you tell me that don't bow down to me, bow down to the Lord. So at least, because I have heard in Uttarkand also that, Guru Avagya and Sant Avagya, today only you were chanting in Sundarkand. Yeah? You remember that, what you were chanting? Shivji telling Parvati ji, that Sant Avagya took place, the whole Lanka burnt. Isn't it? So, how? So you, Baba, tell me, Babaji, you tell me, should I bow down to Guru or should I bow down to the Lord? Gurudev laughed and he said, first of all, you will never see such a sight. Because Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara. Yeah. First of all, when you have Bhagavad Darshan, neither Guru nor Lord nor devotee are separate, all are one. But that Gurudev was speaking from a Vedantic standpoint, and that person was seeing all these distinctions. So tell me, first Guru or first God? You also better make up your mind. Huh? And Gurudev then laughed and he said, first of all, you'll never see the sight, but if you do such see a sight of Guru and Bhagwan together, then know that Guru will cause no conflict. He will be sitting at the feet of Bhagwan. Parijata taru moola vasinam. So you do namaskar at the feet of Bhagwan. Guru to is sitting at the feet of Bhagwan. No two namaskars are necessary. Yeah? Whether you bow down to the devotee or to the Lord, that wish-fulfilling tree of abundance, of love, Karuna Nidan, will shower its flowers on you, any wishes that we have. And therefore, bhavayami, with devotion, I meditate on that ever-purifying son of Pavan Devata, the joy of Pavan Devata, the son of Anjani, whose face is red, means full of love for the devotees and anger towards those who cause sorrow, who is sitting ever at the feet of Bhagwan, who is ready to bestow on anyone who comes and takes shelter with abundance. To that Anjaneya, or that Anjaneya, I meditate with devotion. Pavanatanaya sankata harana mangalamurati rupa Rama Lakhan Sita Sahita Hridaya Basau Surabhupa Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai Umapati Mahadev ki jai Bolo Bhai Sab Santan ki jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.